everyone, and welcome to MeowMix, the Carolina Panthers podcast. My name is Steven.
My name is Jerry.
And on today's show, we will be discussing the Carolina Panthers visiting Buffalo, playing the Buffalo Bills, Carolina North,
Yeah.
as they have been called in the past, although now I think we'd be lucky to be Buffalo South,
Yeah.
given how successful they've been over the last few years.
Well, in the Christmas spirit, I feel like this, like a Christmas Carol, this is like, the ghost of Christmas past or Panthers past with all the Panthers coming back,
6 former Panthers players on the Bills roster, I think. If the trivia thing I did earlier today
still holds
correct.
up.
Because I got it wrong. I said 5 and there's 6. And of course, coaching staff.
And Brandon Beane.
GM. Yep.
Oh, that was such a horrible. I wish we could have kept him.
What a big miss. Big miss. And honestly, probably should have just promoted McDermott to head coach. We kind of missed out on a few things there, but yeah, the Panthers visiting the Bills, and we'll talk about the game. Panthers are 5-7. 5-8. The Bills are 7-6. So the Bills not as dominant as they were last season for sure.
And they're coming off 2 losses.
Coming off 2 losses. I think they're still good enough to.
Oh, I think they're going to be pissed and ready to.
We're going to see an interesting game here.
I was watching the Bills game last week, and I was sitting there thinking, I was like, oh, they are going to destroy us because they're losing this game.
They almost came back and won it.
Yeah. I think we're going to be their get-right game.
Yeah, Josh Allen had a massive second half in that game. Really looked good. And if he kind of has decided that, now is not time to catch fire, then this could be a long day for the Panthers. But there is a little bit of news to talk about before we get into the matchups. So go ahead.
Yeah, the Carolina Panthers designated quarterback Sam Darnold to return from IR.
Season saved.
Why?
I tweeted out, there is going to be a game sometime within the next 4 games where Cam Newton, PJ Walker, and Sam Darnold all play, and that should be Matt Rhule's last game.
It makes no sense. And Matt Rhule came out saying he's going to run a 2-quarterback system.
It never works. It never works.
What? Cam Newton has been
Even
here
in
long
college,
enough.
It doesn't work.
Cam Newton has been here long enough that he should know a good size of the playbook. He should be able to run that 2-minute drill. This just, I don't understand this. I don't understand Matt Rhule's thought process.
Oh, it makes perfect sense. He loves PJ Walker. He wants to give PJ Walker every opportunity to play. Then why did they go out and sign Cam Newton, you may ask? I think that was a David Tepper call.
But here's PJ Walker says he doesn't like coming off the bench for a series. He came out and said that.
But I bet he prefers that to not playing at all.
Well, he goes, it messes up your rhythm. And when I'm out there for only a series, I feel like I need to make the big play so I could get another series. That makes me force the ball instead of taking the checkdowns, which, I mean, he has 2 touchdowns in the NFL compared to 8 interceptions when he didn't have someone coming on. That's a little bit, he still threw the ball.
Revisionist history there, I think. but yeah, I mean, this is why 2 quarterback systems don't work, because you do need to be in a rhythm. You need to build that timing and everything else that happens, and bringing in a cold quarterback, whether it's Cam or PJ, it rarely works. Now, if they were going to do the 2 quarterback system, they're doing it backwards.
Yeah.
They should have PJ playing the whole game, and they should have Cam coming in on those special, just like they did in Arizona.
Yeah.
They have Cam come in and sort of get the first downs, get in the red zone. Cam's better at that stuff. I mean, if they're going to do the 2 quarterback system, then at least do it the way that is smart and makes sense.
That worked already.
Yeah. It showed that it worked. Of course, I'm a little biased because I've thought that Cam would be perfect in that role for years now. But if you're not going to do that, then just let Cam play the whole game. What's the point now?
What are you going to do?
Has
Lose?
proven that he Yeah, right. I mean, PJ has proven that he is not the guy. Like you just said, 2 touchdowns, 8 interceptions in his NFL career.
And 28 years old. He's not a
right.
young, like 22,
Right.
23-year-old guy who's learning.
If he was not on this Panthers roster, he would not be in the NFL. He may be on a practice squad or something. That would be the best that he could hope for, because he has not shown anything really. And he's had a few starts now. He's won his starts, but is it really him that won those starts? Like in Detroit last year, it was the defense that completely shut him out, and he made 2 bad interceptions in that game.
That could have cost him. Yeah, in the red zone.
Mm-hmm. And then this game, Cam was doing the dirty work in those 3rd and short or goal line situations. So I don't know how much you can point to PJ, winning those 2 games, but if they were going to do it, I wish they would do it that way. I sort of wish they would have played that way against Washington that next game, that the way they played against Arizona. Just to give Cam, you could have easily said, hey, Cam's still learning the playbook. This worked last week. We're going to try it again. And then just run that until it doesn't work anymore. I mean, people are still going to be happy Cam's here. Cam's still going to be getting touchdowns. He's still going to be doing his Cam stuff. But we would have avoided that 5 for 21 game.
Yeah.
We would have avoided the last week, the ill-advised handoff. But yeah, I mean, getting back to Sam Darnold, I don't know. I don't know what the upside is for him playing.
My only thought is Matt Rhule is trying to say, I bet on this horse. I think it was just a bad circumstance at the beginning of the season. Let's bring it back, try to win a couple games. Honestly, I think Matt Rhule is coaching for his job right now. I think if he loses out, I think he's gone. We'll discuss that in another segment.
Yeah, I think he should be gone if he loses out.
But I think, honestly, that's what's happening right now. I think he's trying to build it up as, it was Brady's fault. Joe Brady kind of sunk this offense. I didn't have my quarterback.
Sam Darnold correctly.
Yeah. I think he's trying to save face right now, and that's what it is.
Let me ask you this.
Mm-hmm.
Of these 3, Sam Darnold, Matt Rhule, Cam Newton, who is most likely to be back next year?
Sam Darnold.
Oh, really? Who's least likely?
Cam Newton.
Yeah.
The only reason why I say Sam Darnold is because he has an $18 million price tag, and I don't see them being able to trade that away, and they may not want that much dead cap. And if you get a new head coach, I think you could still draft a quarterback, top 5 pick or so, and you can let Sam Darnold stand back there behind that horrible offensive line, because we won't be able to have any assets to get a good offensive line. And you could have the rookie hold the clipboard and just be like, he's learning. And you just don't want to set him out there to get killed and,
Yeah.
I
think, I think the Panthers, I think there's a way that they could trade Darnold where they, might have to throw in a 6th-round pick and pay
the cap,
pay 75% of his salary or something like that, which I have a feeling they'll do, just to clear up some cap space, knowing that Sam Darnold's not going to play for them. But I kind of agree with you. I kind of think maybe the smart thing to do is what they should have done this year with Teddy Bridgewater, or what they should have done with Cam Newton the year before that. Just keep them around, let them play until the rookie or, the big trade or the free agent signing or whoever it is available and, is ready. So, that being said, Sam Darnold is the least of those 3 options, in terms of Cam Newton or Teddy Bridgewater, that I would have wanted to see another
exactly.
year of. I actually kind of wanted to see another year of Teddy Bridgewater with a full off season and all that stuff. And by the way, he's got 7 wins in Denver this year. And
I was ready for Teddy Bridgewater. I was ready for him to go. He's a game manager, and it just drove me nuts. I understand. You know what?
That would have been so much better this year than what Sam Darnold was.
Oh, absolutely. Sam Darnold. I mean,
with Teddy Bridgewater, don't you think they at least have 7 wins right now? with this defense and Teddy Bridgewater at quarterback instead of Sam Darnold? Teddy Bridgewater, who's not going to make those
I don't know.
mistakes?
This offensive line's a lot worse, though.
I mean, we're just a couple of mistakes away, of mistakes
Yeah.
that didn't happen away from 2 more wins.
Yeah, probably with Teddy, I think maybe 1 win, 2 more wins, something like that.
I think Teddy saves Matt Rhule's job if he's here.
Yeah, I do too, because
honestly.
I think you could also point at, hey, Teddy Bridgewater wasn't the guy. We gave him 2 years. I think you get a third year out of. And another thing about Matt Rhule's tenure is the whole team is regressing. That defense was stellar at the beginning, and it's not looking stellar anymore.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about some injuries. We'll look at the injury reports for this game. By the way, Christian McCaffrey was put on the COVID list.
Oh, yeah.
It really matters. I mean, he's out for the rest of the season, but for some reason that was big news.
Yeah, I didn't understand that.
I don't either.
His supermodel girlfriend might get sick. Oh, no.
Oh, poor. Yeah, I was going to make a joke, but all right. AJ Bouye, cornerback, foot injury. Did not practice yesterday, did not practice today, Thursday. DJ Moore, limited practice with a hamstring. Michael Jordan, limited practice with a hamstring. John Miller, full practice. Jermaine Carter, full practice. Then Matt Barkley added to the injury list today with an illness. Not that really matters. He won't be active for the game. But AJ Bouye, if he misses the game, we're already down Dante Jackson. Of course, we're down J.C. Horn. That's leaving that corner, that once really strong unit, pretty weak, especially against this Bills team.
Especially because C.J. Henderson was supposed to.
Can't hear you.
You can't hear me?
Can't hear you.
I'm getting bounced back from.
Can hear you now.
Okay, I think that was on your headset then.
I don't know, maybe. Sorry, what were you saying?
I was going to say, C.J. Henderson was supposed to start and play most of the game last week, and he got burnt all the first 2 drives so badly that he got pulled.
Yeah.
I mean, Rashawn Melvin had to come in for him. So A.J. Bouye missing, that's going to be a big flag. Big flag for this defense. Keith Taylor even has been struggling down the stretch. So,
Which is understandable. I mean, Keith Taylor... he's what, a 6th round pick, 5th round pick, whatever.
Oh no, he's still a draft stock of an A right now.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
For where he was.
We're still very pleased with what he got. All right, now looking at the Bills, we only have Wednesdays.
Yeah, I don't know why. I checked right before we came live and nothing.
Well, yeah, they'd be on the list either way. So Mario Addison, DNP for vet rest, he's going to play. Josh Allen does have a bit of a foot injury. He's in a walking boot after last week's game. He will play, but he may be a little limited in the run game.
Yeah.
Which is something he's very strong at, and that team really likes to utilize. So that could be something worth watching. Cole Beasley, vet rest, did not practice. He was probably just doing some vaccine research, that guy. Jerry Hughes, defensive end, limited practice. Talon Jones did not practice. Star Latulele, limited practice.
Hey,
nice to
Star.
See him. Emmanuel Sanders with a knee did not practice. And then Tommy Sweeney, tight end, limited practice. So there's a few names on that list, but I don't know. Emmanuel Sanders, I haven't seen if that's something that's planning on keeping him out. I think he's sort of just been in that maintenance mode all season long. So, yeah, it seems like no huge injuries for the Bills that we would need to worry about.
No, the only positive, I don't want to say positive about an injury, but if Josh Allen's foot, like you said, he may not be as mobile as he normally is. And Josh Allen's a big physical runner, too. He kind of runs that old, like the Cam Newton style of quarterback runs, not Lamar Jackson. So he's a big dude. Yeah. Actually, I think he's the same size as Cam Newton was back in the day.
Yeah, he's very much in the mold of Cam Newton, and he's one of those guys that when he came into the league was very inaccurate. He's really worked hard. Like Josh Allen is a success story in like every way that you would think. I mean, but yeah, I do think he's much more of a Cam Newton type than he gets credit for, honestly.
Yeah, I do too. But let's go ahead and talk. The Panthers are 10.5 point underdogs. Woo, that's a
with
lot.
with an over under of 42.
No. That's not the over under. I couldn't
Okay,
get the
okay.
over under.
I was
Sorry.
about to say, holy crap, because that means that people just expect the Panthers to get waxed in this game, which also still may be true.
I'm sorry. I
But
couldn't find and I forgot to.
that's okay. It's probably not far off from that. It's probably 46, 47, something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, and that line I don't think has moved really. I think it started the week at 10.5 too.
Yeah.
So there has been no money. I don't think a lot of people are betting this game because
It's a big spread. Why would you want to?
It's a big spread.
I looked at it and I was like, well, I'm not taking Carolina because, yeah, but still. And I'm showing the over under is 43.5 by FanDuel.
Okay,
so
so that's still
super
pretty
low.
low for that big of a spread. I mean, that means people are thinking it's going to be like 33-10 or something like that, which may be close to some of our predictions. Here
Yeah.
coming up. All right, let's look at some matchups here. Go ahead, Jerry.
Buffalo averages 27.9 points per game. Their defense only gives up 17.6. When I was looking this up, Buffalo is on top 5 offense, top 5 defense. I mean, it's just...
Yeah.
I don't know how they lost so many games, to be honest with you. I mean, I know they have a very tough schedule, but wow.
Well, I want to look at their losses here. So they lost week 1 to the Steelers. Like, that's week 1, right? And they won 4 in a row where they averaged 40 points a game on offense. Then they lost to the Titans 34-31. Okay. That was still with Derrick Henry. That's a close game.
Yeah.
Then they lost to the Jaguars 9-6.
That's
in the
so
strangest
weird.
game of the year. Like, what a weird game.
How?
They lost to the Colts 41-15.
Colts are good, but that's a weird score that they lost.
It's weird. Like, so Jags 9-6, then they beat the Jets 45-17. Then they lost to the Colts 41-15. Then they beat the Saints 31-6. Like, they're all over the place. They lost that ridiculous Patriots game
that you could toss out. No one could throw the ball.
And then they lost to Tom Brady last week. So this is the type of game. I mean, if they're at that Jaguars game, then all their losses look pretty legit.
Yeah.
They're gonna. I mean, this is a tough game for the Panthers. Putting it mildly.
Like I said, I have a feeling the Bills are looking at this as a get right game. Hey, let's tweak a couple things. Let's try some things out. Let's get our guys healthy. Let's get this win and move on. And
I mean, honestly, what has the Panthers done to not deserve that?
No.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what I do you see a way this Panthers team could win? I know it's any given Sunday, and I think if a couple turnovers, you could get momentum, and you could go that route. I think
that's it. They got to catch fire. I mean, Carolina averages 19.8 points per game, gives up 21.7 points per game. But they're very much Jekyll and Hyde.
Mm-hmm.
Sort of like the Bills. Now with Cam, we've lost 11 in a row with Cam starting. Okay. This season, in his starts, they're 0-3, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and those games haven't really been close. So, I think it's going to be really like, how does Cam go? Because how Cam goes, I think, so go the Panthers. And honestly, it's been that way.
Well,
Cam's entire career here, mainly because he was carrying the team. Unfortunately, now I think he's just not. Frankly, he's just not good enough to carry the team by himself anymore.
No, he's not.
And that he's just got a lot of miles on him.
I don't know
against Cam.
I just don't know if he's a starting caliber quarterback anymore in the league, and that's saying that I still think he's the best option for the Panthers. I still think that when we signed him, he was the best option for the Panthers.
Yes,
but I just don't know if he's really a NFL caliber starting quarterback.
Well, I mean, there was a reason that he didn't get signed by anyone.
Yeah.
And there's people have their own thoughts as to why that is, some people, but I think the main fact is he hasn't looked like a good starting quarterback consistently in several years.
No.
I mean, honestly, since what, 2017, 2018, first half of 2018, I guess.
Yeah, when he went on that really nice little tear with Norv Turner as the OC.
Yeah, and honestly, like, they sort of changed everything Cam did, and he had like what, 15 touchdowns and 4 interceptions or something.
Yeah,
I mean, he was playing at a really high level, and then he got hurt. And then, I mean, go watch All or Nothing.
Yeah,
that was the year. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, let's look at some of the matchups. Carolina run game versus the Buffalo run defense, both averaging 109 a game.
It's going to be 109 on the dot. Please tell me it's 109 on it. At least give me that.
If it's 109 for the Panthers, then we probably lost.
Yeah, true.
But yeah, I mean, so that's, Buffalo's got a pretty decent run defense.
Mm-hmm.
And Carolina's run game, without McCaffrey, they're going to get 10 to 12 carries from Cam. They're going to get 10 to 12 carries from Chuba, and then Amir.
They need to go ahead and throw that script out. They need to give Chuba a real look. Real look. The last leg of this game. They don't need to give him 7 to 10 carries. They need to get him 15 to 20 at least. They need to get him working to see what they have in him. Because he's shown flashes at times, but he's also shown flashes at times where he's shouldn't be a starting caliber running back. And with McCaffrey injury prone and the possibility of trading him, they need to find out what they have in him.
Yeah, and I don't know how realistic it is that they could trade McCaffrey, but there's an out in his contract after next season. I think next season, if they keep McCaffrey, would be the perfect time to start transitioning him over to that more receiver role. And if you've got Chuba, who has proven to be a good running back, if he has at that point, then that really makes a lot of sense.
And then you could also do, if that's the situation where you decide to run him into the slot, which all accounts, he should be a great slot receiver.
Yeah.
You can also go and no running backfield, have him in the slot, and then have him slide back into the backfield because he could still run. I mean, it's not like you have so many options. It's just, we need an offensive coordinator who actually thinks outside the box, but
yeah, I mean, and Matt Rhule would tell you that this game is going to come down to whether Carolina can run it or not. If Carolina is able to run it 35 times, then that's going to look good at the end of the day for Carolina. Have a feeling it's not going to turn out that way, though. What's our next matchup?
The Buffalo's run game against Carolina's run defense, who's been very porous lately. I was shocked that their run game, they average 121 yards per game. And Carolina's run defense is giving up 115 yards per game. And that was steadily going up.
Yeah, I'm surprised at that, too, because I was thinking to myself earlier, I was like, well, Buffalo's run game is not very good. Their pass game is great. But their run game's not terrible. Like, it's good enough. Now, a lot of that is Josh Allen.
Yeah.
Josh Allen, he's their second leading rusher.
Averaging
531 yards.
6 yards per carry.
6.1 yards per carry. Yeah, and he's got 4 rushing touchdowns. But yeah, I mean, they've been pretty healthy at running back. Devin Singletary, their lead running back, quote unquote, barely more yards than Allen, but he's still averaging almost 5 yards a carry. So he's been pretty stout himself.
Yeah, it looks like they kind of spread the ball out through running the ball. Usually it's Josh Allen, Devin Singletary, and Zach Moss are the main culprits. But, I mean, Matt Breida still has explosion back there. Yeah. I mean, I didn't realize they had that many players back there.
Yeah, and you got Moss and Singletary have combined for 52 receptions, too. So they are dangerous out of the backfield. Singletary's got 32 receptions himself. But only 4.8 yards per reception for him. So they're, pretty possession receptions, things like that. But that he's got the ability. So
Yeah.
yeah, those running quarterbacks, man, always a trouble for Carolina.
Yeah. Especially because the way we like to play our defense is we like to get out to the quarterback, and
Hmm.
sometimes they take the edge too deep and lets the quarterback step up, and if Derek Brown and Daquan don't get that push up into them, they can scurry straight through it.
Yeah,
Caps.
I was watching some tape the other day, and just watching Burns, and they were talking about how Burns, he goes so wide
Mm-hmm.
when he's rushing to try to get to the quarterback that lane is almost always open for a running back or for the quarterback to run through or something like that. So that's something that Burns is going to have to work on a lot in the offseason, I think, is figuring out how to get to the quarterback without
Yeah.
compromising, that side of the line,
And that's one
that side of the
thing
defense.
why he has so many forced fumbles too, is because he does go so wide that he gets to the back of
Yeah.
the hand where he slaps it out easily.
Sure. Yeah.
I
I mean,
mean,
but he's giving up a lot. I mean, we've seen it. Like he
yeah.
gives up a lot of runs in that area. You know, they're just running straight to that side of the line most of the time. Our next matchup here is Buffalo's pass offense versus Carolina's pass defense. Now, Carolina's pass defense, one of the best in the league.
Yeah.
Even last week, it was still less than 200 yards to Matt Ryan. Only giving up 176 a game on the season. Buffalo's pass offense, 261 on the season. This is going to be a big test, for Carolina.
Is it though? Because I could see them more running the ball down our throats. And that's what teams have been able to do, is because our pass defense is very strong. That's not just a number to throw out there. They have always been very good pass defense.
Yeah.
But the big problem is teams have now learned that they could just load the box and just run up the middle and get 6-7 yards easily on us. So
Yeah, I mean, are you saying that the pass defense is maybe somewhat overrated?
I don't think they're
Just
the
because
number one
teams don't
pass.
have to pass on us?
I think it's still a top 5 pass defense. I think
Mhm.
that it is slightly overrated being number 1 overall, but I think that now that teams the past 5 weeks have kind of figured that point out, and we've seen the Carolina run defense go from like 80 yards per game to up to 115 in a few games, proves that kind of.
Yeah, I can understand that. But if I'm looking at this wide receiver or these pass catchers for Buffalo, you've got Stephon Diggs, who is closing in on 1,000 yards.
Great receiver.
He's awesome. Their number 2 is Emmanuel Sanders, who a little older, but plenty left in the tank. He's probably going to get pretty close to 1,000 yards himself. You've got Cole Beasley, who is 1 yard behind Emmanuel Sanders at 605. Will get close to 1,000 yards himself. Dawson Knox, their tight end, has almost 500 yards, which for us would be an amazing tight end performance, would be the second best receiver on our team. And then they've got Gabriel Davis, who's kind of a speedster at 385, 4 touchdowns. They spread the ball around a lot. They've got really good pass catchers. We just talked about the running backs are pretty good catching the ball out of the backfield. I mean, and when you compare that to Carolina, you've got DJ Moore, who is essentially matching stats with Stephon Diggs. But after that, 372 for Robbie Anderson. That's the next highest receiver for the Panthers. I just named 5 guys that have more than that on the Bills. This is a team that wants to throw the ball. They like to throw the ball. They're successful at throwing the ball. And I think they're going to run. I think they're going to throw all over the Panthers because we just talked about AJ Bouye hurt, may not play. And then you got Gilmore is going to play Diggs. That'll be a fun matchup to watch. But who's going to play Emmanuel Sanders? Who's going to play Cole Beasley? That little pesky slot receiver that always has killed the Panthers. We're going to put Jermaine Carter on Cole Beasley?
I mean, Rashawn Melvin and Keith Taylor have played well. CJ Henderson's going to be out there. It's not completely empty. The cupboards aren't completely empty, but they're not
Is CJ Henderson good?
Well, that's It's that's a good
What, has he
question.
proven that he's good?
No, he's
No.
proven that he isn't good so
He's
far.
proven that he is not good.
But I'm just saying it's not. I think the Bills are going to go the complete opposite. I think Sean McDermott is going to watch the tape, watch what we can't do on defense, and say, why chance it? We'll take our shots, but we're going to shove it down their throats up the middle. Up the middle. We're just going to run on them. I mean, last week, Atlanta, left, run to the left. Oh my God, we know it. They're going to run to the left. You know what? The Panthers still couldn't stop it. And I could see them doing that too.
So what's the bet here? It feels like this is a beer bet. Do you want to do passing attempts versus rushing attempts?
Yeah, I'll do that. Do we want to
Okay.
go like more rushing than passing? I go rush,
Yeah,
you go
I mean-
pass. Okay.
Okay.
Beer bet of the
week. All right, last matchup here. It's going to be the pass rushes for both teams.
Yeah. Well, I didn't even include Buffalo stats because our offensive line is just so horrible that
Yeah.
they're going to get 3 or 4 sacks or at least get it 3 or 4 pressures.
Yeah, honestly, we probably shouldn't even say anything about Carolina's pass defense or pass offense because that don't happen much. But Buffalo gives up 1.7 sacks per game. Carolina averages 2.5 sacks per game, but it feels like the Panthers just haven't been getting any sacks lately.
No, they didn't last week against one of the worst offensive lines in the league. I mean, I don't know what Phil Snow is doing, but it feels like it's going back to what I've said earlier. This team is regressing. It feels like the team itself is having the life sucked out of them. Like they're not having fun. It looks like they're going through the motions. I personally don't even know if they're just waiting for the end of the season because I don't think they're buying into what Matt Rhule is selling. I think Matt Rhule may have lost this locker room. I will see,
they keep saying that he hasn't. The players keep saying that they believe in his process.
What else are they gonna say though when they're asked that question?
I mean, we just saw what happened with the Jags.
Well, that was a dumpster fire. That's completely different.
I know, but players, I feel like professional players, when they reach a certain point, they let you know. One way or the other, they let you know. I haven't heard any whisperings. I haven't heard anything of players only meetings. I haven't heard any of that kind of stuff. And from everything we heard in college, Matt Rhule was very, very well beloved by his players. So I don't think that he's lost the locker room. But I think he's lost the fan base.
No, he's definitely lost. See, the way they play for him though, that's what I see. I don't see them really getting up. I would see the Ron Rivera teams when he would be on the hot seat, even when he got fired, I would see them going out there playing their hearts out. I don't see this team playing their hearts out against teams they have a chance to win. They just go out there and just like, yeah. And if that's just bad coaching, then that's bad coaching. But they don't seem to be up for it.
Is that what you're seeing though?
Yes.
You're seeing them not play hard?
Yeah, I don't see them playing hard.
I don't know. I mean, I haven't seen a lack of effort. I
think I have. I feel like
I don't know. I mean, I think these guys, I mean, there's still a lot of incentives for the individual players out there to to stay on rosters. We've got a lot of guys that are coming up for new contracts. Like I'm not seeing a lack of effort. I'm seeing poor planning. I'm seeing extremely poor game plans. I'm seeing poor execution, but I'm not seeing a lack of effort personally.
Okay.
We might get there with another couple losses.
I mean, I just think that Atlanta game just kind of showed it because after that first drive, the whole team just kind of was like, It did, like it was just over and over again, and like third down, they would just kind of miss tackles, just not jumping off, the sacks. They're not getting after them like they were. It's just they're going through the motions. They're not into it. If that makes sense.
They're still tied for 8th in the league with 32 sacks. And I think I saw they were 3rd in quarterback pressure. But it feels like so much of that was early in the season. And I just don't know if it's Phil Snow's, if he's, because of the lack of playmakers in the secondary now and what we've seen, he's backing off the blitzes and trying to help out more in the secondary and not putting all that pressure, just rushing with the front four like we've seen the last few weeks. I mean, I'd love for them to get back to where they were really going after the quarterback.
Oh yeah.
That works. I mean, now in this game with Josh Allen, who's got good escapability, and there's so many good wide receivers and pass catchers that can get open. I don't know if that works in this game. I don't know if there's anything the Panthers can do in this game, honestly. But
I think it's what we said earlier. I think the key of this game is to get a couple turnovers early, kind of get a lead on them, and kind of get some momentum, put some doubt in Buffalo's thoughts. Going through losing 3 in a row. I think that's the only way Carolina wins this game. I don't think on an even playing field, if you don't get that momentum, that Carolina has a chance, really. I mean, I'm a Panther fan, but
well, sure, but we're disillusioned right now. We've lost 8 out of our last 10, 9 out of our last 10, or 11, something like that. It's not fun to watch right now. Not at all. So
I am dreading watching this game. Can I say that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not dreading watching it, but I have an expectation of what I'm going to see.
Yeah.
And I'm really just watching to see if anything looks better than it did last week or the week before.
Or the week before.
I just want to see some improvement over these last 4 games. That's what I'm watching for now. And honestly, like, the Panthers right now would be the 8th pick in the draft.
Mm-hmm.
You lose out, I bet you're somewhere 5th or 6th.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to get in that top 4.
No.
Those top 4 are pretty locked in. But last year, the Patriots were 7 and 9, and they picked 15th. So another win or 2 drops you into the teens. So that's something else that we can watch for. And
so
you're
right
watching
now,
for draft spot.
Right now, Panthers are 5 and 8.
Yeah.
So the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 teams are 6 and 7, right behind them. So honestly, you don't want to win. I know.
Point,
again, Matt Rhule definitely wants to leave.
Yeah, if the playoffs aren't realistic, and I hate tanking and I hate watching it, but we're not making the playoffs.
No.
And if we have a top 5 draft pick, at the very least, we can turn it into some 2nd and 3rd round picks that we don't have next season. And, all of a sudden we're picking 16th and we have a pick in the 2nd and 2 picks in the 3rd or something like that. Then I'm feeling a little better about losing those last 4 games.
Yeah.
Or 7 or 8 games, whatever it turns out to be.
I mean, honestly, as a long-term Panther fan, I want us to lose out because that's going to help us get better. Winning the last couple games is not going to help. I heard someone on the radio, the culture. No, who cares? Last year, we started playing better at the end of the season. Did it help this year? No, it hasn't.
In fact, winning that one game dropped us from 3rd to 8th. And that really, really changed the course of this season.
Forced us to get Sam Darnold for a 2nd round pick. Yeah. That is a hot garbage mess. I mean, it's because I think we're 3rd.
You could have traded. I mean, you could have done what the 49ers traded up to 3. That could have been the Panthers getting all those picks. And still having a shot at picking. I mean, the Dolphins traded back to 6th and still have plenty of picks. So I mean, it just opens up the world of possibilities. Now, I don't want to be one of those fan bases that's every year rooting for their team to lose out. Like it feels like we've done for the last several years now, is that we're like rooting for these losses. But what else do we have right now? I mean, now we're all rooting for the draft. I mean,
Yeah.
and that sucks to put your fan base in that position.
And this is what, the 4th year in a row that right around now we're already looking at the draft. Like, I think since we started this podcast, we haven't been to the playoffs. So,
No.
yeah, it's just
maybe it's our fault.
I'm sorry, man.
All right. Well, we did the beer bet of the week. Let's get to our predictions. Bold predictions. Now, typically these are positive, Panther-centric bold predictions. I don't know what you've got this week, Jerry, but
my bold prediction is we hold Josh Allen to under 150 yards throwing.
Okay. My bold prediction is we hold the Bills to under 50 yards rushing.
Oh, we're just leaning into our beer bets, aren't we?
Yeah, that might be 50 yards might be a little low, but 150 yards is pretty low for
yeah,
I mean, even Matt Ryan got more than that. Yeah, it's a bold prediction. It is. Sometimes you're not quite as bold. This is bold. All right, game predictions. Guys, we love the Panthers. I just want to put that out there. We love the Panthers. Panthers aren't going to win this game.
I have Buffalo Bills winning 29-6.
Oh, 29-6.
I think their defense is just going to make our offensive line look silly. Our offense hasn't shown any ability, any life, really. So I think they're just going to get smacked around.
I think the Panthers do a little better on offense, but I still think it's a blowout. I think the Panthers lose 42-21. I think they double up. The over might be in play there. You want to take the over, but
I have the under, so
yeah, I think the Panthers are going to be able to score, and I think the game is kind of close midway through the third quarter, and then the Bills just kind of.
I'd be happy if the game being close. Yeah. I really see Buffalo just trouncing us. As sad as that is.
It's quite possible. It's quite possible. All right, let's take a look at the other NFC South games. Not that it really matters, but the Falcons and the Saints are still in the playoff hunt. So Falcons visiting San Fran,
and both those teams are the 6 and 7. So we want them to win at least one more game to give us some cushion. Yeah.
I mean, the Falcons are heading to San Fran. That's a playoff game, basically, because San Fran right now is in the wild card spot,
and they're playing well. So,
so that's a huge game.
Mm-hmm.
And then New Orleans is going to Tampa, which Tampa is fighting for the number 1 seed in the NFC, and New Orleans is fighting for a playoff spot. So that's a couple of good games there, a couple of meaningful games at least.
Yeah. So.
Jerry, I wanted to say one more thing.
Oh, God.
So, no, this is a positive thing. Let's end on a positive note.
Okay.
So I was looking at this. This thing came across my, attention the other day. NFL team loyalty. Okay.
Oh, God.
So what they're looking at is when an individual is a fan of a team and they move away. They move states, they move into another NFL market. Do they continue to root for that home team, or do they start rooting for the new team? Okay. So top 5 most loyal fan bases based on that metric. Number 1, Dallas Cowboys. Not a surprise.
Yeah.
Number 2, Green Bay Packers. Also not a surprise. 3, Buffalo Bills. 4, Carolina Panthers.
I believe that. When I moved away, I would find a lot of Carolina Panthers fans that, same thing, that they lived here, grew up here, and then, moved away for a job or something. I mean, my nephew in Nashville, they have a Nashville Roaring Riot that he goes to sometimes. I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah. On the other hand, top teams who, when someone moves to that area, that individual switches allegiances.
Tampa Bay Bucks.
Starts rooting for the home team. Tampa Bay is one of the least loyal fan bases, Jerry.
That's where I was going.
Least loyal. Well, I'm saying, so if someone moved to Charlotte, would they start rooting for us? Like that's what this is.
Oh,
so
I'm
Panthers
sorry.
are third on that list of
that's
teams,
pretty cool.
of people that move. Yeah. So the Panthers, they engender it now. As a lot of that is maybe Cam Newton when he was here, bringing the excitement and, people wanted to root for him. What I mean to say by that is David Tepper, don't screw this up. Like we have a good thing here. We have a loyal fan base. We have
and it's
people
still
that
growing.
enjoy watching the team. Yeah, and they want to go to games. Get it right. Figure this out.
Yeah. No,
you've got the fan base.
Yeah. We spend money.
Make us happy. Yeah, make us happy.
As I'm still wearing another Carolina Panthers shirt. I mean.
Yeah. And I still own Carolina Panthers shirts.
All right. We want to thank everyone for listening. If you like the show, please let your friends know. Please follow us on Twitter at MeowMix Podcast. If you have any questions or comments, you can email us at mailbag@meowmixpodcast.com. And if you leave us a 5-star review with a comment on Apple Podcasts, we'll read it on the show. Please like and subscribe on YouTube.
We'll be back on Sunday afternoon / evening to discuss the Carolina Panthers, Buffalo Bills game, whatever happens. Until then, everybody stay safe out there and keep pounding.
Wow.